Good morning. Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Ileana, and I'm a librarian at the San Francisco Public Library in California on the unceded land of the Ramaytush Ohlone peoples. Wherever you're tuning in from, we are so happy to have you here today. And welcome to our Local Talent Showcase for Family series. Every Wednesday at 11 a.m., from today to August 12th, we will spotlight the talents of some of our favorite artists through amazing performances and creative workshops. See who's coming up at sfpl.org/Summer Stride. A huge, enormous thanks to the Friends of SFPL for their generous support of this special series and our annual and award-winning Summer Learning, Reading, and Adventure program. Summer Stride. We just could not do it without them. Books are obviously some of my most favorite things in the world. You can read them, share them, and even write in some like journals or workbooks. Did you know that you could even make one? You're all going to have the opportunity this morning to meet a dynamic duo who are going to share some tips, tricks, and all-around awesomeness about how to make your own book. Book Arts Roadshow was co-founded by Cheryl Ball and C.K. Itamura to provide book arts instruction and hands-on learning experiences for children, teens, and grown-ups in your own space. I'd love to welcome Book Arts Roadshow. Take it away.
Hi there. I'm C.K. Itamura. My first name is actually Cheryl, and this is...
I'm Cheryl Ball.
We're both Cheryls. We're like bookends from the Book Arts Roadshow. And welcome. It's so nice to see all of you. Normally, we make a tour of the Bay Area during the summertime, and we go to schools and libraries and museums. But this summer is a little different, and we're so glad that the folks at the San Francisco Library invited us to visit with you and make books with you this way. And
we're so glad to be invited by the San Francisco Public Library. Cheryl and I are big fans of the Summer Strides program, and we're so excited to show you how to make a book today.
So today we're going to show you how to make a book called A Hidden Pocket Book. And this book's really special because it's made with things that you probably already have at home, and we'll show you what those things are right now. So the first thing that you'll need are 6 pieces of paper. So 6 pieces of paper. And these sheets of paper are just regular paper that I had in my printer. So I just grabbed 6 sheets and we'll use those. Another thing that you'll need is 2 more sheets of paper. And the other 2 sheets of paper could be colored paper if you just happen to have colored paper lying around at home. But if you don't, 2 more sheets of white paper will be just fine. And you'll need a pair of scissors. Just any kind of regular scissors you have at home. And let's see, hopefully you have a glue stick so that you can glue things. But if you don't have a glue stick, you can use paste or regular glue, liquid glue, or even tape will work. So if you have that, you're set. Also, you'll need a piece of waste paper, and a piece of waste paper is actually just paper that you probably have at home that you would normally throw away. So it could be a piece of a newspaper or magazine pages, or maybe some things that came in the mail that are just going to get thrown in the recycle bin. You could use a piece of waste paper, and we'll show you what to do with that too. The last thing that you'll need is a pencil. So just the regular ordinary pencil. If you don't have a pencil, a crayon or a pen will do too. So if you have those things, then we can get started. First, I want to talk a little bit about the pocketbook. So this hidden pocketbook we're just about to show you how to make it's fun. It's got lots of pages in it. You can make them as long as you want. You can make them as many pages as you want. And the special thing about a hidden pocketbook that I personally like, makes it one of my favorite books of all time to make, is that you can hide little things inside the pockets. So let's get started. So I'm going to talk you through the first set of instructions, and then Cheryl is going to demonstrate so you can watch her hands while we're walking through this. So the first thing that you're going to do is grab one sheet of the paper that you have. And the important thing about the piece of paper is, even though I'm using paper from the printer, you just need to make sure that all your pages are the same size. So they don't need to be this size, but whatever size paper you're using, just make sure that all your sheets are the same size. And we'll get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold the paper in half. And we call this a hamburger fold because it's shaped like a hamburger. I'll draw a little hamburger here for you really quick. It's not going to be a very pretty hamburger, but it'll sort of give you an idea of what a hamburger fold is. So a hamburger fold makes the paper into a shape of a hamburger. And then we're going to open the paper up again. And this time we're going to fold it like a hot dog. So a hot dog fold is folding it the long way. And I will attempt to draw a hot dog for you here. So a hot dog fold is this way. So it looks like the shape of a hot dog as opposed to a hamburger fold. Then you're going to unfold your paper. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the right edge of the paper, the right corner, and we're going to fold it down to meet the line that's halfway up the paper. And then we're going to crease it. So now you have a little triangle in that corner of the paper. And then we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So we're going to take the left-hand corner and bring it down to the line as well. Then we're going back over to the right-hand side. We're going to take the right edge of the paper and we're going to fold it over so it meets the center line on the page. And do the same thing over on the left-hand side. Great. Then we're going to take the top part of the page and we're going to fold the top part down into the little V, just making a little flap there. And every time we're making a crease, we're trying to make the crease nice and sharp. So you're going to push down on each of the edges to make sure you're making all your creases really sharp. Then next, we're going to take the bottom corners and we're going to fold them upward right along the little crease that's already there, but we're going to fold the whole bottom half and fold it up over the top half, and then we're going to crease that again. And then we're going to flip the whole thing over. And then we're going to take the bottom little flap that's hanging out there, and we're going to fold it up over the bottom edge. And then we're going to make a nice crease at that point too. Great. And now, after you've done all that hard work, we're going to undo the last 3 steps. So we're going to undo the little flap. We're going to open up the top flap, and then we're going to open up the top flap on the very top again. Great. Great job. So now on the very bottom flap, there's two sides. There's a left and a right side to it. And what we're going to do now is grab our glue sticks and our waste sheet of paper. So the waste sheet of paper is basically something that you just lay down on your work surface. So whether you're working on a table or a desktop or on any surface, and you don't want to get glue on the table or your desktop or your work surface, then you put the waste sheet of paper down so that it doesn't get all gluey. And then you put your page on top of the waste paper. So now what we're going to do is we're going to apply a little bit of glue over onto the flap, but we're not going to go across the do not cross line. So there's a little crease there that's already on there, and we don't want to put glue to the left of that line because it's basically just a waste of glue because we don't need any glue on that side. So we're just going to put glue on the right hand side. So the way we're going to do it is get our glue stick and put it up against the edge of that one line that we're wanting to use as our glue line. And then we're going to press down and rub the glue stick over to the right and right onto the waste paper. But when you're getting to the waste paper, just go ahead and lift your glue stick up so that you're not getting a lot of glue on the waste paper. It's actually not a problem if you get glue on the waste paper, but it's just a waste of glue because we don't really need the glue to be on the waste paper. So make sure that you put a nice amount of glue on that whole flap. And then once you have that, you can move your waste paper out of the way.
You might want to fold it over so it doesn't get stuck on the paper the next time.
Great idea. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn the whole thing up 45 degrees so that the flaps are on the bottom and the glue flaps that we just made are on the bottom. And we have the bottom two corners. And what we're going to do with the bottom two corners is we're going to lift them up and we're going to tuck them inside these little pockets that are up towards the top. We're going to tuck them in there. So it's a little tricky and you might get a little bit of glue on your fingers while you're doing this. But basically, you're just going to try and carefully tuck them inside those corners. Yay, great job. So now you're going to push down on that whole section that has glue on the back side so that the glue sticks to the paper really nicely. And now you have just made your first pocket. So the next step is to take the next 5 sheets of paper that you have and do the exact same thing. So we're going to be doing that while you're doing that. And then we'll meet each other right back. I'm going to get mine started. I'm a little bit behind because I wasn't making one while you started. So if it's taking a little bit longer for you to make yours, then you'll be right with me. Oops, I forgot a step on mine. And it's not really a race, but so take your time to make them. But what I want to mention right now is that although we told you to have 6 pieces of white paper ready just for today's sample, but if you, for instance, decided after you make one of these that you had so much fun making them that you want to make more, then what you can do is you can use as many pages as you want. So say, for instance, you decide after you make this first little 6-page pocketbook that you want to make a 10-page book. Then all you need to do is make sure that you have 6 pieces of paper. I'm sorry, 10 pieces of paper instead of just 6. Or if you wanted to make a book that's got 100 pages, you could get 100 pieces of paper and make lots of these pockets. And then your pocketbook would end up being 100 pages long. The other thing about making these pockets is they don't have to be white pieces of paper. You can use colored pieces of paper, or you can paint some paper ahead of time or draw on them. Like I used some watercolor paints and I painted this piece of paper. And you can use paper that's been printed on. We like using papers that would normally get thrown out. So sometimes what we do is we save our scrap paper or our printed on paper to make these with. Another type of paper that you can use to make these books, and we'll show you some examples of everything I'm talking about at the end. But you can also take old magazines that are getting ready to be thrown out, and you can cut the pages out of magazines. And I usually look for pages that have interesting photographs on them, or colorful pages. And then I go ahead and cut them out, and I cut them into rectangles that are all the same size. And I make books like this that have the rectangles. Another way that you can make these same type of books is to cut paper bags. And I know up until a couple months ago, I would usually use my nice canvas cotton book bags every time I went to the grocery store. But lately, I know a lot of the grocery stores, or pretty much all the grocery stores, are now giving out paper bags for the time being. So I've been saving all my paper bags because I can make books out of them. And at the end of this session today, we'll show you one of the books that we made using paper bags. And what you do with the paper bags is you actually take the paper bags and you cut them up so that you cut them open, and then you can cut the paper that the paper bags are made out of into rectangle shapes. And then from the rectangle shapes, you can do these same exact steps that we're doing right now. And you can make the same type of pocketbook out of them. And in addition to all of those ideas, then we'll also be sharing with you ideas of what you can do inside the pockets. I'm going to take a quick little break here to show you a few books. So I mentioned a moment ago that some of the books that I made were made out of paper bags. So this is a paper bag pocketbook. So it's the same book that you're making right now, except for it is made out of paper bags that I cut into rectangles. And then I got crayons and I colored all over the paper bag rectangles. And then I made this book that has scribbles all over it. And what I'm going to do later is I'm going to put some words on it and write some other things inside my scribbles. Another version that I did that I mentioned was that you can use colored paper if you happen to have colored paper. And so what this book is I made each page, each paper, when you make these little pockets, I used a different color sheet of paper every time I made a pocket. And I ended up with a pink page, orange, a yellow, a green, a blue, and a purple one. So this is my little rainbow colored version of a pocketbook. In addition to that, here I mentioned magazines. So I found a magazine that had lots of colorful pages in it, and I cut the pages out into rectangles, And then I used pages from a magazine, and I did the same steps that you're doing right now using the rectangle pages from a magazine. And as you can see, I picked really colorful pages that I found inside the magazine, and I made this book out of magazine pages. And again, I'm going to go back in and put some words in here with a marker, but this is the stage that it's in right now. Another one that I did, this is made out of plain white paper. So this is the plain white paper that you're using right now. I had some color pencils. So on this one, I actually added a ribbon after the fact, which you can do too. But I took my plain white paper that I was going to make my little pockets out of, and I drew designs with my color pencils. And again, this one I'm going to go back in with a marker and write some words and some drawings inside a little bit later. And then also I have another one, and this again was also made out of just the white paper that we started off with. Same paper, just paper from my printer. And this one is looks like this. I put a ribbon around it just to hold it together. And this one was made with regular paper that I got my little watercolor set out and painted the papers before I started making my pockets. And that was a lot of fun because I just did some splatters and some different patterns and things like that. So there's two ways that you can approach making these little pocket books. The first way is you can make them with plain paper like you are right now, and then write things, draw things, and decorate it afterwards. But the other way you can do it is to decorate the paper first and then go and start folding your little pockets like that. So I think Cheryl is on
The last one.
the last one. Great, perfect timing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to switch places, and Cheryl's going to talk to you while I'm doing a little demonstration with my hands. Almost, but I'm back while we're waiting for the last steps.
Okay, so there's 5.
There's 5. Oh, should we have a 6th one?
Oh, I do have a 6th one. Sorry.
Yay.
Right here.
Great.
Okay.
Super. So we're going to switch places now, and you're going to see my hands. You're going to see Cheryl's face.
Hi, everybody. So what you're going to do is you're going to need your waste sheet again. So put your waste sheet down on the table. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your pockets and, see the flap. Cheryl can point to the little flaps for you that are open. You're going to put it down on your waste sheet. Take your glue stick. And what you want to do is, again, so there's the edge of the pocket right here. You don't want to go over that. So you're going to start with putting your glue stick down on the other side of that edge and just pull to your right and just keep going down the paper and just lift your glue stick as soon as you get to the edge. And what you're going to do is take your another pocket and you're going to line it up to the left edge that we said not to put glue on. And you're going to put it near, not too close, but maybe like a little hair apart, or like Cheryl C.K. likes to say, a little ant. Pretend there's an ant and there's a little path there. So just press down on that. And you're just going to keep gluing the flaps until you have them all together. So CK will keep showing you how to glue that all together. This is a fun, really fun book. Just remember, you don't want to put the pages too close together because you want to be able to open and close the book. So you always leave just a little hair or a little ant trail, single file ant trail there. So just line it up the best you can, press down. And this is why when Cheryl CK was talking earlier about making the creases sharp, is because you want everything to lie pretty flat. So you're going to do this to all 6 of your pages. And you know, you can even use these little tip. You can get colored paper and make these into envelopes. You could put little letters in them and then just glue, put a thin line of glue up here, and then you can address the envelope. So that's another thing that you can do with these. And it's really quite fun. And Cheryl's got her, she's doing her 4th one.
Oops. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I got sticky paper. So I'm doing what you did. I'm
So
folding
yeah,
it over so I get a nice piece of paper that doesn't have glue on it already.
yes. So whenever you get glue on your waste sheet, make sure to fold it over, and then you don't need to get a new sheet each time, but just yeah. I picked these came in the mail yesterday, and I was like, perfect. I now have waste sheets for the project today. So it's really great. And other things that you can use as waste sheets is you can use magazine pages, telephone book pages, butcher paper, just things that you don't want to use.
Ooh, wrapping paper.
Oh, use wrapping paper that's been folded over and over and you don't want to keep using it. And like Cheryl was saying, if you don't have glue right now, you could be using paste. You could use double-sided tape as well, but I don't have any double-sided tape. So I always have a glue stick handy. For bookmaking, just basic scissors, glue stick, pencils. That's all you really need, right, Cheryl?
Yeah. And you can make lots of nice books with simple supplies. It's just what you do with them that matters.
Cheryl and I like to use a lot of our junk mail that we get to make book covers. When you get a fun postcard in the mail advertising a show, it would be really nice to make, you turn that into a book cover. Are you on your last one, Cheryl?
Yeah, and the reason why you see some scribbles on some of my pages is because that piece of paper I drew a hot dog on and a hamburger on, I made pockets out of them because they're perfectly good pieces of paper, and now they're part of my book, my artwork.
Okay, so
Okay.
now you have this long thing. And Cheryl will show you how to fold it. So you're going to fold one over and then fold the next. So it's like an accordion. So it looks like I'm holding up. So you're just alternating them. And there you go. And Cheryl, right, you have one flap sticking out.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
And you're going to glue it?
Yeah, so we're switching places, and I'll show you the next piece. So now what we're going to do, see, we've got this extra flap left over on the end. So we don't need that because we don't have any more pages in this particular book. Now, if you're making a book that's 100 pages long, you're going to have a lot more pages that you're going to be gluing for quite a while. But for this book, the sixth pocket, we don't have, that's the last one. So we're just going to take that edge and we're just going to tuck it inside, and then it's hidden. And then that's where it's going to stay.
Another secret pocket there.
Yay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out some pieces to put inside the pockets. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. We're going to show you one, but you're welcome to come up with your own ways of doing it too. So the first thing you're going to do is grab one of those other pieces of paper that you had. You should still have 2 pieces of paper left over. They might be colored paper, they might be white paper, but you're going to grab one of those, and that's what you're going to do here. Cheryl's got a yellow piece of paper, but yours is whatever color you just happen to have. So the first thing you're going to do, oh, and you've got to grab your pencil too, because you'll need your pencil for this part. So the first thing you're going to do is, because we want to make sure that the things that we cut out to be inside the pockets, we need to make sure they're not bigger than the pocket. So we're going to just put our folded book, because now we've folded our book up into this nice compact little package. And these are all our pages, but we're just going to take the whole package and place it down on the paper and get your pencil and just trace around the edge of the book lightly. And it doesn't need to be exact. It doesn't need to be lined up any particular way. But you're going to do this and try to see if you can get 6 rectangles traced onto your piece of paper. And just as a reminder, they don't need to be the perfect size, because you'll see why in the next step. So once you have 6 rectangles, and they don't need to all be the exact same size, so don't worry about that if it looks like if they're not all matching. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors. So now you grab your scissors. So now we're breaking out all the tools. We're using all the tools that we talked about. So now what we're going to do is cut shapes inside each rectangle. And they could be any shape at all. It could be the shape of a jelly bean. It could be the shape of an egg. It could be an oval. It could be the shape of a cat. It could be a rectangle if you want it to be a rectangle, but it just needs to be a fun shape, and it needs to be inside those pencil lines that you made. So any shapes that you want to at all. Now we're just doing fun shapes for this book, but when you're doing your books in the future, if you have a theme for your book, and I mentioned cats a moment ago, if you like cats a lot and you're going to make a cat pocketbook, then what you can do is you can actually, after you draw your rectangles on the piece of paper, you can draw cats in each rectangle and then cut them out. Because then what we're going to do is put those inside the pages of the book. But let's see, what would I put? Oh, I might cut some clouds. I like clouds a lot. So while Cheryl's cutting out her shapes,
Random shapes.
I'm gonna cut out a cloud. So I just cut out this little fluffy cloud. So this fluffy cloud's gonna go inside my book. Cheryl's got some fun shapes that look like canoes, and one of them looks
Leaves.
like peanuts. And so go ahead and cut yours too, while we're cutting ours. And let's see, I like that peanut shape that Cheryl did, so I'm cutting a peanut shape too. And what else do I want to cut? Oh, well, I did say cats. So let me try and cut one that's kind of like a cat shape, maybe, if I'm lucky. Now I'm just using my scissors to cut, but if you want to draw your shapes first,
You can
on,
tear as
on your
well.
paper. And then you can, let's see, I'll do one right now. And oops, sorry, you can't see what I'm doing yet, but I'll show you momentarily.
Cheryl, I'm tearing mine, so.
And tearing it is another way to do it. So here is, so I mentioned cats a moment ago. So I just cut out a shape out of my rectangle piece of paper. It's the same size as my cloud, roughly, but it's a cat. So I'm going to put my cat inside one of the pages, and we're just giving you some ideas of different types of things you can do. You can draw on it and then cut out shapes, or you can just cut out shapes and draw on them later. So you could do them either way. You can do artwork first or shapes first. Okay, so now what we're going to do is with each of the pages in your pocketbook, there's a pocket, and Cheryl's putting all of her shapes inside the pockets. So the way that this could work is, say for instance, you're writing a book about your cat. You can write the words about your cat on the cover of the book, and then you can put your cat on the inside of the page. So Cheryl's doing that, and although we haven't drawn anything on this sample, that will be something that we'll do later, and that's something that you could do after you're finished watching this video. You can decorate this. Super. Okay, so then what we're going to do is the last step, actually. Wow, this just went really quick. So the last step is we're going to make a cover. So now that you have all your shapes in your book and you're going to decorate it after this video is over, we're going to make a cover. So the first thing you're going to do is get your last piece of paper. And your last piece of paper, you're going to, what you're going to do is we're going to match the corners up hamburger direction. So we're going to go to the top and to the bottom, but we're not going to crease it. Don't crease it this time. Even though we had you crease everything up until now, don't crease this one. So right now you're just going to match the top and the bottom. And then you're going to get your finger and you're going to push it out to the top corner and make a little pinch. Just push it down and pinch it and go to the bottom and pinch it, but don't crease the paper. And then when you open it up, you'll see that you have a top crease and a bottom crease, which is exactly what we want. So then you're going to take your book pages, your pocket pages, and you're going to place that on the paper on its edge, right between the top crease and the bottom crease. So now what you're going to do is lift up the top edge of the paper, right where that little pinch was, and you're going to lean it up against the top edge of your pages and just pinch it. Just going to kind of press it there and pinch it. And then you're going to do the same thing at the bottom. And what that's doing is that this is a way you can make a book cover without having to use your pencil or a ruler. And so now you have a little tiny pinch mark on the top and the bottom. And then we're going to take those pinch marks and fold at the pinch mark, or slightly on the bottom, you're going to fold slightly to the bottom of that pinch mark and push all the way out to the side and on both sides. And then you're going to take the pinch mark on the top and do the same thing. You're going to fold it over and go all the way to the left and all the way to the right. Great. And then we need to grab our book pages again. And this is what I'm calling the edge of our book pages, right? This is the front, this is the back, but here's the edge. So the edge is what we're going to put down on the paper. Again, we're going to set that down right in the middle where it was before. And then we're going to lift up the right side of the cover And we're going to basically just push the bottom of it up against the book. So we're sort of making a crease here. In fact, we are making a crease, but we're just not folding it all the way over. And then we're going to do this, we're going to switch hands and do the same thing on the left side. Just going to lift it up and make a crease along the edge of the bottom of the book where it's touching the table. Great. And then I'm going to open it up and we're going to lay the edge of the book. So here we have the edge. We're going to lay the edge of the book right along the crease on the cover that's on the right hand side. And we're going to lay the book down flat on, great. And then we're going to lift the right hand side up of the cover and fold it up and crease the outside of the pages. And then we're going to go over to the left hand side, crease, and we're going to do the same thing. And then we're going to take the right side at the far crease and fold it over and crease it. And same thing with the one on the left hand side and crease it. And now you've made a book cover. So all that's left to do is to take one end of your pages and slip that in to one edge of your book and take the other end of your pages and slip that other side into the other side of the cover of your book. And once you do that, you have a pocketbook that has a cover on it. Almost.
Almost. Okay,
Almost
I'm
there.
tucking it in.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And so you have a pocketbook with a cover on it. And inside the pockets are your little pieces of paper that you can write and draw on. So what I've done is I put mine in the wrong way. Let me put my pages in the right way. Remember earlier I showed you a piece of plain paper that I painted on. And what I did while we were doing this demonstration is I made a cover out of it and it looks like this now. So this was a plain piece of paper that I had painted on. I showed you the paper and it looks like that. And we have our pockets with things inside. So I hope you enjoyed making a pocketbook with us today, and I hope you continue to make pocketbooks, and I hope you have a fun summer.
Thank you for joining us. Hope
Thank you for
had
joining
fun.
us. Oh, and just really quick, if you want to learn how to make more books or to make paper, decorated paper for books, there's two places you can look. One of them is our website, which is bookartsroadshow.net. So bookartsroadshow.net. And also check out the Book Arts Roadshow YouTube channel, which is just called Book Arts Roadshow. And we'll see you there. See you next time.
That was amazing. Thank you, Cheryl, and thank you, CK. It is so awesome that you can create your own custom book from just a couple of items with the steps that you guys just masterly led. And you can use it to remind yourself of all the amazing books, right, that you're reading or that you're looking at, or draw something that inspires you. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, enthusiasm, and your skills. Your Instagram, Book Arts Roadshow, is a great place to see your art and where they can catch you next. And thanks for sharing your website where people can sign up for your newsletter and your YouTube. Just a reminder, the recording of this tutorial will be posted within 48 hours, so everybody will be able to see the replay and join in on the fun. Thank you so much. Don't miss our Fog City Gardener coming in next Wednesday, June 24th at 11 a.m. For more details and info on how to catch that show, go to our events on sfpl.org/summerstride. Once again, I want to give a huge thank you to Book Arts Roadshow, to the friends of SFPL, and to everybody tuning in and being part of our local talent showcase for families program. Thank you all so much. Take good care. We hope you're doing well, and we hope you guys can join us again soon. Bye.